This week, something a little bit different. What about a Peugeot Partner? You know, normally I don't get that excited about little vans, and this one's no different. But you remember we reviewed the CADDY a little while ago from Volkswagen, and I liked it. Roof rails, for example, I think finish off the look, and I think they look just smashing, although best not to say smashing when you're talking about cars, for obvious reasons. And the seating is as flexible as a Cirque du Soleil somersaulter. There's a sliding door on each side, so you can walk straight through if you want to. But I thought it was a little bit expensive, and I think this, the Peugeot Partner, is a little bit expensive too. This one, 35,900-ish on the road. Retails for about 30,900. So what do you get for that? You get a 1.2 litre, 3-cylinder turbocharged engine with an 8-speed automatic. It also comes in a 6-speed manual and a 5-speed manual depending on your engine choice. The wheels are 16-inch steel, and of course this doesn't have clever locking and unlocking, so you just lock it and unlock it with your key. Once you do, you get access to all the doors. And to make matters super easy, there's another one on this side. Around the back, you've got some barn-style doors that open like so, but if you're wanting a little bit more space, push the little yellow tab and you can open the doors to 180 degrees. Shutting them again, you don't have to do anything fancy, there's none of that faffing around, you just close it. Like so, and it's locked up. As for the cabin, it is incredibly clever. There's little cubby holes everywhere. There's one here on the center console, another one down here under the center console, and above the driver and the passenger there's a couple of shelves. It is sloped up at the front, but I wouldn't put anything too heavy in there because, you know, it could take off and hit you in the face. But have a look at this. There's a thing that looks like I don't know, like a navigation system, and it's not. You have to press accept and you find that it's a permanent rear facing camera that has several different views, so you can put it down by the gutter, but then you do lose the rear facing bit, and that's because this thing has solid rear doors, so there is no rear view, which could be a little bit of a problem. The gear selector is kind of interesting. You select the gear by just rotating the knob. There's also a manual mode and there's some paddle shifters, though I think the paddle shifters are probably a little bit hopeful because sporty this is not. Okay, I put it in reverse. I've got to accept that again. And I can really clearly see what's going on at the back. In fact, more clearly than what you do in some hatches. Now, the other good thing that this has got is a very upright driving position, and I'm 6 foot-ish, and there is plenty of room, though I wouldn't exactly call it comfortable. I wouldn't want to go on a long trip. Having said that, this isn't the sort of car you're likely to go on a long trip in. Let's see if I can manage not to blind us. Okie dokie. The rear view from these enormous side mirrors is quite good. Now you might think that the power from that 1.2 litre engine is somehow lacking. It's not. The 8-speed auto has a nice low first gear and it's actually quite nippy. Stopped a bit too fast. This has got start-stop, so the engine has just stopped. Meanwhile, let's talk about the seats. There's 3 in the front. The middle one has a little cooled box thing under it, and the passenger's seat will tilt right out of the way for storing taller things in the passenger compartment. Now you'll notice behind my head there's a bulkhead with a glass window. It's also got a bit of mesh to stop anything from smashing the window that you might have in the back, so they've thought of that. The cabin's set out amazingly just like a Peugeot passenger car. So there's the iCockpit, which is this tiny little steering wheel with the paddle shifters and the active cruise control paddle down below. And in front are 2 driver's dials and an LCD screen. One of the bits of information on that is a digital speedo, and the other traffic recognition sign, so recognises traffic. It is by camera, so you have to actually drive past it in order for it to recognise it. Noise, it's not the quietest car in the world, but then it's not the most expensive car in the world. The infotainment system is the same exactly that you get in Peugeot passenger cars, though there's no DAB radio. There is, however, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. That's connected by cable, and you'll notice one of the buttons, virtual buttons, is navigation. However, you've got to have your phone plugged in to do it. One of the points that I'd make about this before we go any further is that Peugeot Partner is more expensive than the opposition, there's no doubt about it. But unlike the opposition, Kangoo and Caddy, Partner comes fully equipped with safety gear. So it's got sensors, it's got active steering, it's got active cruise control, and it's got lane departure warning. Now the ride is fairly firm, but remember this can take 1,000 kilos. I'm not quite sure how the whole thing would feel if I had 1,000 kilos on board. There's also airbags, something again which a lot of buyers don't seem to see any importance in until they have an accident. Finally, it's got autonomous emergency braking. That's something again that's not available in some of the opposition cars. That's all for this week. Peugeot Partner. As always, if you've liked the video, don't forget to hit like and leave a comment, but above all, just there to subscribe.